had a 6 foot tall blow up dinosaur that we put on top of our umbrella so people could find us every week.
It was very difficult to get in, but I was very determined. And in fact, I used to fax all my few little bits and pieces of press I got here, an editorial to Barney's. And as it turned out, the doorman was the one who got the faxes, and it wasn't even anyone in the buying department.
Not many people know that story. It's too hard to write in a press release.
Welcome to Paddington, the heart of fashion design in Sydney. While the studios and experimental playgrounds for designers might be somewhere else, this suburb is where the fruits of their hard labour first come to the surface. Initially, designers often float their ideas at the Paddington market, which lies at the heart of this tour. Later, many designers open dedicated stalls around here. This tour will tell you the story that you don't often hear about the area. Most of the people you'll meet are fashion designers. Some of them are still what you might call aspiring, while others have already ascended to the exclusive circle of internationally renowned designers. It's all about the ideas that made them start out. Some didn't think about it too much at all, or even sometimes acted against their own better judgment.
Never had any aspirations to be a jewellery designer, just thought, this could be a kind of fun way to do a project.
Or I'm already in vogue, I should start a label.
I thought it was the most ridiculous thing anyone could ever do, because you don't make money in art galleries.
Other designers did it because they couldn't see any other options.
The only jobs that you really qualify for out of art school, pretty much washing dishes. It's not like you can walk into a company and say, well, here's my art degree.
Broke open our piggy banks and counted our pennies and was like, oh, maybe we could do it.
We could put $1,000 each, buy the business, and then just do this for like 2 years or 3 years or something. We can just have fun and not worry about like looking for work.
And again, others were motivated by a higher purpose or came up with a cunning marketing strategy.
I was handing out flyer cards at Fashion Week down at Circular Quay.
And it was so popular, and it kind of inspired me to keep going and pushing and kind of embark on this massive learning curve about production, business management and manufacturing.
So I was uncomfortable with that mass production aspect of the packaging industry, and myself as a tool maker making the tools to facilitate that. And the idea was that I would try and design products that were a little bit more valuable in a social sense.
And if you're curious to find out what drove those who are today at the height of their careers, we have them reflect on their early motivations and beginnings.
I came over from Japan on working holiday visa, and that was more than 20 years ago now. And when I went back, I came back straight after, pretty much 3 months after staying in Japan, because I missed Australia. Air and green and blue, all those colours that you see are so fresh.
Naturally, you'll hear designers speak about their own work. They talk about their overall philosophies and inspiration. But then you'll also find out what happens when the designers turn their fantasies into reality.
I've always been interested in treating the fabric, so I do a lot of washing and distressing and treatments to the fabric so that the fabrics become my own fabrics. Because the first couple of seasons I'd buy a fabric and then someone else would have the same fabric.
My winter collection was called A Tribute to Dr. Strange, and it was about the anatomy and if a hospital was a boutique, what would you buy there, and everything was very subtly based on, colours of bandages and death and blood, and all the embellishments were cage placed where the rib cage is on the top, or the heart, or hand, bone, x-rays made into beautiful gold embellishments.
Over time we became very interested in the different properties of the resin and what you could put inside it, and we started embedding objects and we started mixing colours that would make swirls and just experimenting, because it was a really nice medium to carry colour, which has become our trademark. So over time, after doing the black resin, we thought, what would happen if we just used the resin on its own? So we started just experimenting with that, and probably for the last more than 20 years we've been just experimenting with resin, and every day we're still doing new experiments and seeing what the material can do.
Sometimes maybe the maximum quantity of any dress we might make is 200. A lot of our hand beaded garments, there's only 3 or 4, so you'll get one of 3 or one of 4 in the world. It's really about design and about construction and fit and, about good clothes. It's not just about a look that we've got on the back of, a trend for a season. There's a lot more to it than that.
The tours are about the resources that help designers grow, which can be retailers.
NQ stands for incubate, or to incubate. So the whole idea is we were just going to basically nurture and breed sort of young designers.
And of course the Paddington market, which is the centre of this tour, and was the starting point for many of the designers who today have stores in the area.
Every Friday night we'd sit there and we'd roll and pile this resin and bake it in the oven and stay up all night, and then, you know, have our fresh tray of goodies that we would have at Paddington markets.
And of course this tour is about the passion, the inspiration, and reflecting on the failures and successes and why it's all worthwhile.
I really do believe there's some people that just love glass, and they just have to work with it, or they have to buy it, or they have to be around it in some way. I've met so many people like this, and I'm just one of those people.
It's always been about the work, and the business is what you have to do, but the work is what we love to do.
The Audio Design Museum is a living museum, where the city becomes the exhibition space. You could look at it like an urban safari about creativity. If you want to do the entire tour, you can download it to your device and print out the maps, which will guide you to the individual locations and give you some backgrounds on the designers. There you can listen to designers in their studios, their galleries and businesses. So it's a show and tell about their ideas, their creativity, and about the work they've made.